Good morning. If everyone would please stand, we're going to present the colors and then do a Pledge of Allegiance. Ready for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag would still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I'd like to thank everyone for coming today. Mayor Henry is away on vacation, so he asked me to come speak for him and naturally give you his good wishes. We are so proud that you chose Old Bridge to come to do part of your event. And it's called Stride and Ride, and this relay was created to honor and remember those who perished on 9/11, our military men and women who were deployed October 7th, 2001, those lost their lives at war, those who lost their lives due to the invisible wounds of war, and support those currently serving, including our veterans and first responders. This is an amazing event, and we are just so proud that you included us in your journey. We do have several families that were impacted during 9/11, and each year we gather here to make sure that they know that we will never forget and that we always remember. And that's very important to Old Bridge, and I think to the country. And it's because of people like you that we are keeping this alive, and we will never forget. I have today with me, as well as myself, I'm Mary Sohor. I have Councilwoman Debbie Walker. I have Councilwoman Dr. Greenberg Belli, and I have Councilman John Murphy. I also have Senator Sam Thompson, who will be coming up now to speak. Senator?
Thank you, Mary. I want to thank Stride and Ride for what they are doing. Their motto, uniting together to remember and honor, is so appropriate. And that you do this each year, we will never forget. But your efforts are so recognized for what you do. 15 members riding together the full distance from Boston down to Arlington, Virginia. Along the way, they gather many people that ride with them, up to about 300. But again, we want to thank you again for what you're doing today. We shall always remember, and thank you.
Thank you, Senator Thompson. We now will have a musical selection. J.S. Bach, Air on G String, Alex Yakovovich, and Joe Sherbin. Thank you so much for that beautiful song. Now I would like to introduce the founder of this amazing organization, Heather Viveros.
Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you, Mary. Geez, where do I begin? First with my thanks, right? So, my name is Heather Viveros. I live just outside Boston, Massachusetts. I'm very grateful to be welcomed to the town of Old Bridge. First, I would like to express my sincere gratitude and thanks to Mayor Owen Henry and the community of Old Bridge and Senator Samuel Thompson for joining us. And a special thank you to the Council President Murray Soho, Project Coordinator Rosemary. Could you say your last name? Rivoli. I want to make sure I don't say it the wrong way. Sorry. And also all the councilmen that have joined us today and the community of Old Bridge. I would also like to thank God for believing in me and giving me the vision of Stride and Ride Relay. Mary, you had said it very well about what Stride and Ride represents. And when I was trying to think of my speech, and I was saying I need to write a speech for Old Bridge, I was talking to Rosemary and Mary the other day, and even Matt. Thank you, Matt. I have not got to meet you yet. Matt, thank you very much for setting up everything for us here at the Parks and Recreations. So I had the honor of speaking with Rosemary, Mary, and Matt the other day, and they had said they wanted me to share my story. And my story really began with the Boston Marathon bombings. And I don't live too far from that line where the Boston Marathon goes through. I had asked my husband if I could get a bib. I said, you know, we know enough people, we should be able to get a bib. And for some reason, he said to me, how are you going to train for it? And I'm like, I'm not going to train, I'm just going to do it. And we had a young child, a young son, and he talked me out of it. And I didn't press forward, and then the bombings happened. And he called me. I was at the gym. I was a little bitter. He called me. He said, aren't you grateful you didn't do the Boston Marathon? I said, what are you talking about? And as I looked up at the screen, I realized what I would thought was going on in another country was actually happening again here on American soil. I look up and I see the National Guardsmen who were rucking in honor of military members who are no longer here to feel the ground beneath their feet. They were rucking, and they were pulling down those barricades between the patrons and the runners. And as I had happened to just look up, I had seen them all pulling down the gates trying to get to those victims. And it brought me back to my living room when 9/11 happened. And I had seen the first plane hit, and like many of you all, we all thought, wow, this is something happened. And then the second, and then the third, and then the fourth. Wanting to be a part of that at the time, I was in my early 20s. Somebody that I had been close to said, don't go down there. Let them do their job. I wanted to do whatever I could, serve waters, food. They said, let the people who know what they're doing do what they have to do to save as many lives as they can. Unfortunately, 2,977 lives perished that day. Bringing you back to the Boston Marathon in May. I wanted to give people hope that they could see, because unfortunately when we lose hope, we start to lose a piece of ourselves. We start to slowly fade to demons, fade to whatever it is within ourselves where we don't want to keep pushing forward. So I prayed to God, and in my right ear I heard, run for our troops. I said, okay, what about kids with cancer? Because at the time I had done a lot for kids with cancer. They are our future. And I heard I heard that too, but our troops need our help. I said, okay. So with that, I thought he meant run. So I'm finding any road race I can find that honors our troops, that supports veteran charities. And at the time in 2013, there really weren't as many as there are now. Fast forward it, in September 2013, I had met this young woman at a race event. And we got into social media, became friends. Fast forward it to October of 2013. And I meet this gentleman. He was a deputy chief, Steve Zaros. And he pulls me aside and he asks me what my story was. And as he's asking me, he goes into his vehicle and he pulls out this patch, hands it to me, and he says, "This is my son, Marine Corporal Nicholas Zaros." He said, "If you want to learn more about my son, you can go online. There's stories that I've shared." So I went online. His son stepped up to serve after seeing what happened on 9/11. He was 12 years old. He saw what happened, and he said he wanted to serve in our military. He wanted to protect those that live on American soil. And then with that, my vision started to grow, and what became one became two, became three. And now is over 200 men and women that I carry who have been killed on the war on terror, who have been killed stateside, or ultimately took their lives due to the invisible wounds of war. So I sat there and I said to myself, how am I going to incorporate all this into my speech? Each one of us has been affected some way or another. Stride and Ride represents the hope that is lost. We want to give that hope back to people. It represents so much more than just a relay. It represents the sacrifices your family members have all made in some way, shape, or form. 9/11 affected 2,977 lives, family members' lives, children's lives, moms, dads, brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers, uncles, aunts. And it continues to affect us 17 years later because our military members are still deploying and serving and sacrificing each and every day when they were deployed on October 7, 2001. So when we incorporate our relay, we like to make tribute to the lives lost on 9/11 because of the fact that our military men and women are still serving and sacrificing because they love this country and they love you all, and they want to be that voice for those fallen those fallen lives on 9/11. So when people come together, good things happen. My team back here volunteered for 8 days to come out and do these stages with myself and my co-founder, Dave Fall, who is a combat veteran. He was a firefighter in the Air Force over in Iraq and continued his service as a firefighter here in the States. I'm really beyond words how much Old Bridge has extended their heart-warm welcoming to us. But I'm also very lost for words because it does affect me in a lot of ways. Seeing this memorial behind me, I know that there are 15 families in Old Bridge that no longer get to see their families. So again, Mary, I thank you guys. I am grateful for all of you. I'm grateful for everything that you guys have done thus far. Rosemary, thank you for putting this beautiful event together. I would really like for my team to come up because my team is what, could you guys please come up? Stride and Ride really represents the hope that those that are lost will never be forgotten. We relay 911 miles to never forget those sacrifices those lives, those 2,977 lives, the 6,932 lives that were lost on the War on Terror. We've lost over 182 firefighters due to illness at Ground Zero. Over 100 police officers, too, have lost their lives due to illness. We lose 22 veterans each and every day, plus one active duty due to the invisible wounds of war in service. And we lose 5 first responders to walk in those thin lines. It is very important for us as a team to remember every single life that was lost on 9/11, as well as those that are losing their lives each and every day to the War on Terror. It is important for us to unite together to honor and remember all those lives lost. And without my team, I'm nothing. Without my team, Stride and Ride's nothing. But most importantly, without the cities, the towns, the states that we relay through, Stride and Ride will not be able to continue its mission of honoring and remembering. Because it takes us as a team, us as a country to unite together. And so with that, I really do want to say I thank everybody here of Old Bridge. I thank the families for coming out. I thank Chuck's family, Costello's family, Gary Frank's family, and every family behind me who has come out to represent their family who is lost. I thank our veterans up here who are part of the Stride and Ride team, our active duty veteran, active duty military member who came along with us, our Gold Star families, Ricky Atherton, who lost his brother, Corporal David Atherton, who is active duty and also a Stoneham firefighter who tragically lost his life stateside. I also thank Lynn Patton and her husband, John Patton, who have come along the whole entire way with us in honor of their son, Matthew Patton, who lost his battle due to the invisible wounds of war. I also thank Ma Deuce's representation here and Dennis for coming out, who helps raise awareness for our veterans and raise awareness for veteran suicide and help our veterans become a part of society again and feel that brotherhood. I thank Tori Fisher from Backwards Flag, who has done so much to help our veterans as well. And it really is about coming together as a nation and doing the Pledge of Allegiance and standing for our national anthem and being proud, because we really truly are the greatest country in the world. And we will fight together to protect each other. And in the end of the day, we really all are one. We really all are brothers and sisters together. And I am so grateful that Jake Order had asked us to stop here today. He had asked me about 2 months ago if we would stop in Old Bridge, and I can't tell you guys how thankful and how grateful I truly am. I do apologize that my speech may have been a little off this morning, because in my heart it is more than just 15 people behind me. In my heart it is more than just veterans standing amongst me and a team. For me, it is about being an inspiration beyond the finish line, for carrying their stories and continuing their mission forward. For as long as I can feel the ground beneath my feet, I will continue to carry your loved ones and our veterans and our first responders. I take what I do extremely serious, and I take it with the heart. And sometimes my speeches may not sound as great as they should be, but I can tell you my heart is bigger than I can explain. And with that, when you see this folded American flag containing over 7,000 names, 10,000 names of those that perished on 9/11, our military members and first responders, and those that lost their battle due to the invisible wounds of war, that we will carry them beyond the Pentagon and for each and every day. So I'm sorry that I took up quite a bit of time. But this is not just a mission and a passion for me. It is my heart and my soul. And so with that, the people of Old Bridge, I do thank you for allowing us to carry your loved ones beyond the finish line.
Thank you for that wonderful speech. Next, we have the co-founder of Stride and Ride Relay and combat veteran and firefighter, David Fall.
Okay, so I didn't prepare a speech. I'm not really a speech guy. I'm just an acknowledgement kind of guy. So, Rosemary, if raise your hand, say hi. This is Rosemary. Rosemary is awesome. She's come out here. She's conversed with Erin. She's organized this event here today for her and Jake, of course, also. Bear with me. I'm not the greatest at speaking too. So if I forget somebody, please throw something at me, a shoe or something. Felicia, Lori, you guys here? Gary's sisters. Hi, do you mind standing up? These are some of our Gold Star families in the neighborhood or in the town that we want to make sure that get acknowledged here. Thank you very much for coming out here today. We're going to make sure that we honor and remember absolutely everything that your family's given as a sacrifice. Also, Mary Costello. Mary, please stand. Everybody needs to know who you are. Oh, and Mary's family. Yes, yep. This is all chicken scratching here from me. And same thing that we said to them over there. We're going to carry them. We're going to make sure they're remembered, which is the most important thing because it never really goes away, I'm sure. All right, so thanks again. Where was I? Mary, you, of course, representing the mayor's office, and the councilmen that are here also, and women, excuse me, that are also here. You guys are more than accommodating to us here in this town. This is huge. This is our first major big event along the relay, so thank you so much for this, really. The Senator, Sam Thompson, sir, you came out. You're great. Thank you so much for coming out to this. Bear with me. Old Bridge, am I missing something? Old Bridge Metal Militia, you guys here? Hey, there he is back there. He's a Giants fan. I don't know how I feel about that, though. Did I miss it? I didn't miss it. Okay. All right. Ma Deuce Deuce, raise your hands. You guys came out here. They got some fantastic programs they're trying to do themselves. I heard they like to do wrestling yoga. Wrestling yoga, right? Backwards Flag Brewing. Were they here? They are here. All right, excellent. Yep, so Backwards Flag Brewing for all your support while we're here. Robert Shimko, IBEW, local 400 representative. No? Oh, there he is. All right, excellent. Oh, did I butcher your name there? I didn't butcher your name, did I? All right, sorry about that. TJ Tucker, Raven Morris, the military committee for the IBEW. All right, yep. So thank you once again. And I think I pretty much got it. Oh, Pat from Preferred Visa Services. Where are you? He's feeding us. All right, so everybody give him a big hug. Texas Roadhouse gave us some gift cards. I don't know if they have a representative here. No? And then the crew that rode our flag in here, if you guys would raise your hands real quick. Cyclists, that was a real tough cycle stage for everybody but Nick, apparently, because Nick does this on the regular. Thanks for showing up last second, Nick. That was awesome. And I just wanted to share one story real quick. And we were in an impacted community a few nights ago, and our team was able to meet up with a bunch of high schoolers and speak to them who some of them weren't even born or just babies when September 11 happened. And what they took away from that, and we keep talking about over and over, all we're trying to do is have one person's life changed in this, for instance, in this impacted community with this entire thing. One person's life changed is more than enough for anything we can do. I'm not the greatest speaker. I hope that made sense. We're working on some not much sleep either. But last but not least, somebody that was challenged last year by a member of our team, Jake Orta, if you'd stand up, please, and if everybody could give this guy a big, big, big round of applause. Jake, thank you. This is awesome. And then where we're taking showers, Club Metro. Also, we got to remember that we got to stay nice and clean. So, all right, that thing. And I'm just the co-founder. Heather had the idea. We met up and we made this thing happen. So my name's Dave Fall again, and thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we're going to have some speakers who have family that were impacted 9/11 here in Old Bridge. Felicia Capo.
I said I wasn't going to get emotional, but obviously that's not going to happen. And after Heather's speech today, how could you not get emotional about her passion? I'd like to thank Mayor Henry and all of his office and staff, Mary, all the Old Bridge councilmen and women that have been here today, Senator Thompson, Matt Mercurio, Rosemarie, and obviously the Stride and Ride organization for coming into Old Bridge and doing this special tribute, and then all the Old Bridge residents and community. My sister Lori, my mother, who is very ill and could not be here today, and our family are truly touched and grateful for this honor bestowed upon our brother Gary J. Frank. It's still hard to believe that he's been gone for 17 years. Not a day goes by that we don't reflect on our brother, his life, and our incredible friendships with him. His million-watt smile could light up a room, but more importantly, his huge heart and sensitive nature would instantly make you like him. Everybody loved him. He was a great brother, a son, a father, a friend, co-worker, and most of all, he was just really a great overall person. Lori and I both had a special bond with Gary from the time that we were very little into our adulthood. We have an abundance of memories in our time together that make us laugh, smile, cry, and love. For me, I vividly remember when we painted our bedroom with Vaseline and tried to roll glass milk bottles down the stairs when we were 3 or 4 years old, as teenagers having parties at my parents' house with mutual friends, hanging at Rutgers together where I went to school, and spending many weekends and fun times with each other once he became a dad. My most favorite and cherished memory was our last conversation on September 6th of 2001, when we said, "I love you," as we hung up the phone, not something that we normally did when we were speaking to one another. I'm really thankful for the beautiful, sappy birthday card that my brother sent to me that made me call him that very day for our last conversation. I still have that card to this day, and I cherish that as my all-time favorite memory of my brother. Although Gary was 6 years older than Lori, they shared many things in common, from movies to music to pool. They went to many concerts together, including their last summer in the 2001 seeing Gary's favorite band, AC/DC, and went to Vegas several times when Gary was competing in pool tournaments. He even lived with Lori for a while when he had fallen on some hard times. And even if Gary did hit rock bottom, he always persevered. He put his heart and soul into everything he did, and he was really excited about working in the South Tower of the World Trade Center for Aon as a data imaging director, a position created just for him. He started there in May of 2001. On 9/11, after the North Tower was struck, he had all of his staff leave the building for safety, but he remained in his office and was still there at 9 a.m. amidst all the chaos. That was Gary, always being concerned and helping other people before himself. Like his story, there are many other stories of loss and heroism in those darkest 102 minutes. The voids in our heart will never be filled, but we know that we feel Gary with us every day. He's always giving us some sign, and we always have our memories, those that makes our heart smile. His loss has allowed us to love more and cherish all the big moments and small moments that make up our lives and cherish them more deeply than before. He has allowed us to love and to hate. I know he will forever guide us on this continuing journey until we meet again. On a personal note, I am truly touched and grateful to Jake Order, who was instrumental in getting Gary and Chuck Costello, another Old Bridge resident lost on 9/11, added to this wonderful mission, and to Heather, Viveros, Dave, and all the Stride and Ride organization and team for all you've done to bring comfort, hope, and peace for the families of those lost in the military and on 9/11 and all the first responders and veterans. We truly thank you, and God bless everyone.
Thank you so much, Felicia. That was a really very moving speech. Next will be the family of Chuck Costello, which is Mary Costello, his wife.
I wrote a short, sweet thing because I didn't want to say a whole bunch. But first off, I just want to say that your speech was not all over the place. It was very moving, and it actually touched me in more ways than I can even explain. But anyway, I just want to thank you all for honoring Chuck in this way. He was proud of his service in the Navy, as well as the service of others. He would have loved this, I know. He probably would have been involved in it, honestly, if he was here. He was proud to attend his sister's retirement in January of 2001 after 20 years in the Navy. He had a strong faith, and he prayed all the time, like literally all the time. He used to say the rosary as he drove in traffic, because he realized it got really angry in traffic, and he thought it would be a better way to use that time wisely. I'm sure he continues to pray for all the servicemen and women in and out of harm's way. This is an honor well suited for Chuck for that reason, as well as the fact that he loved long bike rides. I don't know if they told you about that, but he was a long distance bike rider. And he rode his bike from here to the Outer Banks of North Carolina just for fun. That's why I'm sure he would have been very involved in this if he was here. For the first time in a long time, I actually dreamed of him last night, which I haven't done that in a very long time. And I think it's safe to say that you all have an angel riding or running alongside of all of you. And I'm sure he will keep you safe in your travels. God bless you all, and God bless America. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Mary. Next, we have a Gold Star mother of Sergeant Matthew Patton, Lynn Patton.
But I am Lynn Patton. This is my husband John in the yellow back there. And we are the proud parents of Sergeant Matthew Scott Patton. We became active, direct parts of that 9/11 when he took his life, May 13th, 2013. That was 5.5 years ago. He was a really great kid, funny, pulling pranks, and getting in a smidgen of trouble with the law. But I found out just last week, because I had no idea why he joined. But apparently when he was 12, when 9/11 happened, he and his classmates were sitting and watching, and they were outraged. These little kids were outraged, and about 5 or 6 of the boys in the class made a pact that when they turned 18, they would be joining the service. And they all did. So that's why all of his class did this. And I'm like, what is going on here? But I feel so proud of them that they, as those young kids, understood what was happening and they were going to fight it. So he went to Afghanistan after being over in Germany, and he couldn't handle what he saw. And like I said, he just couldn't take it anymore, and he died by suicide. Now, we formed the Matthew Patton Foundation afterward because the pain was too devastating. There was nothing that could fill the hole in my heart, and I knew nothing ever would. But I could do something that would partially fill it and make me feel better about everything. And so I do what I call saving another mother's Matthew. And so we formed the Matthew Patton Foundation to do that job. Through various means, we save lives. And we're up to 30 in 3 years, and we have 1 more in the hospital right now. Now, part of our mission at Matthew Patton Foundation is to work with other like-minded organizations. And I have chosen Heather to work with because she's a very special woman. I love her to death. We met at one of the Run for the Fallens, and we've been friends ever since. And when she told me about her vision, I said, I totally believe in that, and I want to be involved. And so I went one day last year, and I was so inspired by the reception we got that I decided to go all week with my husband here. And again, it's been inspiring. So we just want to work together to make the awareness out there. Let people understand you can talk about these issues. You know, that if something happens to you that's horrible, you can talk about it. It's not dangerous. You can go get help. That's why I'm here, because I got help. And I will work with Heather together because I love her so much. And Dave Full and that great tactical team back there, this is the best one I've ever seen. So thank you all for listening.
Thank you to the Patton family for coming and sharing with us. We will have a musical dedication to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. It's Rachmaninoff's vocalists, Alex Yukovich and Joe Sherbin. Thank you very much. That was absolutely beautiful. Next, I would like to call up Mr. Dennis Adesio, who is from MA Deuce Deuce.
A veteran was in a hole. It was dark, he was alone, and he didn't know how to get out. No matter how many times he tried to climb up the sides, he didn't have the strength to get out by himself. So he called out for help. And a doctor walked by, and he threw in a bottle of pills and said, "Here, take these." And although they helped, he was still in a hole. So he called out for help again, and a priest walked by, and he tossed in a Bible. And he said, "Here, take this." And he took it and he read it. And although it helped, he was still in a hole. So he called out for help again. And a major organization walked by and tossed in $1,000 and keys to a brand new car. And I said, although it helped, he was still in a hole. At his last wit, he called out for help again. And a veteran walked by. And he jumped in the hole with him. And he looked at him and he said, what are you doing? I can't get out of here. And the veteran said, don't worry. I've been here before. Now let's get out of this hole. I'm Dennis Adesso. And this is Tom Kislow. And together with other veterans, we're Ma Deuce Deuce. And we like to get guys out of holes. And we like to keep these guys out of holes. We take them fishing. We take them to baseball games. We can go scuba diving. There's nothing on the list that we haven't done yet. We hang out with former WWE superstars. We get the veterans, our fellow brothers and sisters, the resources they need, and then we ensure they apply them. Because although pills and brand new cars and money, and personally for myself, God, does work, we do need people to help apply them in our lives. Because without applying the help that we do receive, you might as well be sticking there alone in a hole all by yourself. Heather, thank you for inviting us today. You're an inspiration. But like all of us, we like to call ourselves ripple makers. And you're truly a ripple maker. We've heard about you before you heard about us. And to be here today to talk to other people not in our normal area means a lot to us. So thank you for doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. And anything that we can do to be a part of it, just ask. Thank you very much.
And now I would like to ask Tori Fisher from Backwards Flag Brewing Company to come up, please.
I'll likely keep this brief. I'll admit I was unprepared to speak today. I'm extremely grateful to be here, to have met Heather. I wasn't really entirely sure what Stride and Ride was about until a few weeks ago when she came by our brewery and we started talking. And one of the things that I realized immediately was that the thing that we shared was passion. The passion for the people that we love, the passion for the people that we fight for. I spent 13 years in the Army before I opened a brewery. And that doesn't really seem like a big veteran outreach. But something I learned in that time was about 6 months into the brewery being open, one night I was sitting down and having a beer with the guy in the brewery, and he said, he looked around, he said, you should put some camouflage and stuff up on the walls. It'll be really cool. And I said, it's not really something I want to do. I don't want to alienate people. I don't want to, just be that Army brewery. And one of the things that he said to me was, it's not just about you. It's about us. We all need a place to go. And this is a place that we've learned to call home. And since then, I've changed everything that we do to be exactly who I am. I am a veteran. I'm a veteran who has needed people, and now I'm a veteran that tries to help people. And we use the brewery as a platform to do that. In that, I've met so many amazing people. I've met Dennis and Tom, Ma Deuce. I've met Heather. I've met so many fantastic organizations. And one thing that I've learned in that time is that we do have to continue to band together. We do have to continue to say all of their names, those who are living and those who have left us. We have to continue to do the things that we're doing. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, so, going into this year, I recruited some great friends, and they became a part of the Stride and Ride 2018 tactical team. Ray Reagan, Dave Fall, the co-founder of Stride and Ride Relay, Ed, Charlene, Ricky, the brother of Corporal David Atherton. Jim, raise your hand. Lynn Patton, Sergeant Matthew Patton's mother. John Patton, Sergeant Matthew Patton's father. Margaret, Billy, and Joe. But again, it's about being an inspiration beyond the finish line. And so with that, these guys have also been fundraising. And we fundraise throughout the year, not only for the relay itself, but because, again, we are about uniting together to honor and remember and also help support our military members, first responders, and their families. So these guys have been working hard for months, from helping raise money at a golf tournament to give back to Corporal David Atherton's foundation and First Lieutenant Scott Milley's foundation, to being able to give back to Military Friends Foundation during the relay. We also were able to give back to the Newton Firefighters Children's Foundation. And so with that, I would like for Dennis from Ma Deuce Deuce and Tori Fisher from Backwards Flag Brewery to please come up here. So as you know, we love our veterans and we love our first responders and we love what you guys do. And so on the behalf of Stride and Ride Relay, we would like to present both of your organizations with a check to continue your mission beyond the finish line, to continue to be able to help our veterans learn how to brew some badass beer, which is the next chapter to Backwards Flag Brewery. And for Ma Deuce Deuce to take their veterans to a Red Sox game. Oh, sorry. Patriot, no. But to be able to embrace what they would like to embrace together and bond together. So again, on behalf of Stride and Ride Relay and all of the donors out there who have donated to us along the relay route, there have been some motorcycle groups which the American Legion Riders had donated to us, as well as the combat veteran riders that we met in East Hartford, Connecticut. They also donated to us. So with that, with those donations and the donations that people give to us along the relay route and during us relaying and beforehand, we are able to present checks to amazing organizations that help our veterans and first responders. So again, on behalf of Stride and Ride Relay, Dennis, Tori, continue your mission beyond that finish line, all right?
Well, I'd like to thank everyone for coming today. I'd like to have my co-counsel come up with me to thank everyone for coming. We really appreciated everything that you have done here, and we are hoping that, we have a future that we will see you again in the future here for this event. We thank everyone from Public Works. We thank everyone from Park and Rec, Matt. We thank Rosemary Reveille for a wonderful, or really a really nice event, Ro. Thank you so much. And I have both my co-counsel here if either one of them would like to speak before we close the ceremony, okay?
Yes, above all, we will never forget, and thank you for all your efforts, and keep the ride going. Thank you.
Thank you for all coming out today, and it's an honor to be surrounded by such wonderful people. Thank you for what you do.
And thank you everyone for coming. Have a good day.